Hi everyone, welcome back week 9 lecture 4. In this short video I wanted to discuss how organizations change their culture. Many organizations change their culture for over time for a number of reasons. Staff leaving, organization itself going international. The question is really how the organization can improve on their current culture and what are the things that they can do in order to change the culture from the previously used one to a new one. Well, that process of changing corporate culture starts all the way to the top. Now, culture itself cannot be delegated. It must be on the CEO list of the top priorities. So in essence, all the way from the top level to the bottom level management team in the organization, that new culture, new form of organizational culture need to be communicated well and specifically. Now, to start with, CEO itself must know their own organizational culture, determine how it is related to the business itself, and take responsibility for shaping that new corporate culture. Now, through that concept of communication comes the level of importance of the CEO and the management team in order to communicate the new corporate culture, values, and norms to all of the people within an organization. As previously mentioned, CEOs and all the management level needs to understand that both culture, new one and the old one that organizationally is currently operating within. Now look at the current culture, identify the practices that need to be changed in order to improve our organizational culture. Let's for a second assume that the current culture is not working. So what would be that new culture that will take us forward? Improve the communication on all levels would be a starting point in order to change that new culture and achieve our desired outcomes. Many organizations are building teams to better communicate with the leader's vision of desired culture. The next point is how organization change their business culture is firstly to measure the current one. How often do we basically measure it? There is no right or wrong answer to this one. It is more important what measure are we using in order to measure our organizational culture. We spoke about engagement survey. We spoke about the cultural survey. We mentioned even a climate survey. The last point was basically a pulse check if from memory. And all those ones, they're indicating the shifts within the current culture that is employed by the organization itself. Now, what is important is that those cultural changes and measurements need to come from the top of the organization, from CEO, and they should take the lead in measuring as well as implementing this new culture. What CEOs also need to do is basically examine the organization to determine where the organizational culture needs to be changed. It is going to be organization-wide or just basically some specific department or division. For example, if we are talking about the Monash University, well, university-wide changing culture would be different to changing, for example, faculty culture. And then within a faculty culture, we have departments, and the department culture might be the one that would need to be changed. But you can see the scope of the tasks that the CEOs have on their hands in order if they are looking into the changing organizational culture, or for that matter, department or faculty level. Of course, it's easier if that change takes place on the smaller scale, for example, within a department or faculty, rather than university-wise. Now, the last point brings us to a reward cultural behavior. Now, CEO itself, for the CEOs itself, it's much easier to reward the employees based on the performance over the given period of time, 3, 6, or 12 months. You're looking at the market share, you're looking at the profitability, you're looking at the cash flow, you're looking into launches of new products and so forth. But how do you reward a cultural behavior? Emphasis is on the culture, word culture itself. Now, when occasion does happen, we have to acknowledge, of course, those ones who performed exceptionally well. And for example, David has performed perform exceptionally well in the financial department, and there is a reward that follows that achievement. But on the other hand, we can also encourage reward people that are embracing the organizational culture with their stakeholders and shareholders, and emphasizes the importance of organizational culture, not only within the organization, but with all the external shareholders and stakeholders. Itself gives a different image to our organization within a business environment, but also serves as a kind of the ideal case scenario for other organizations to follow in order to embrace a similar concept. All right, until the next video, take care, stay safe.